Hi, welcome to Reform Tech channel. I hope you have seen my previous video on why are we using Docker and also the types of volumes, right? So now let's do some hands-on on it. Okay, so let's take four scenarios. One is without volume, and the other three are the types of Docker volumes. Those are anonymous volume, named volume, and host or bind volumes. And let's see how that it all works. Okay, so first let's see how an container works without volume. So let's first create a container. I hope you all know the command to create a container by now. So it's docker run -it hyphen name and name of the container, and to run it in background -d and httpd image. Okay, so the container got created. Let's see whether the container is up and running. Yeah, the container is up and it's running. Now let's enter into the container. Let's enter into the container by using the command exec -it and container ID. Container ID is 5eb bash. Okay. Oh, so what's the command? Oh, sorry, that's execmst. Yeah, now we are into the container. Now if you see, before we were inside root and OS boxes, and now once you hit this command, you are inside the container, right? You can confirm that by this, by saying this. If you see it here, it's root at the container ID, right? Meaning that you are inside the container. Okay, let me clear my screen. Yeah, now we are inside the container, and let's create a file here. So I'll say touch and without volume file. I'll say without underscore volume underscore file. So this is a file I've created inside the container, right? So now let's see whether we are able to see this file outside the container from the host. Okay, so let me say exit. So yeah, now we are back to root at OS boxes. Now let's find this file which we have created inside the container. I'll say find slash hyphen name and the file name, that is without volume file. Okay, yeah. Now you're able to see this file from outside the container, right? Meaning that this file is available now. But if you stop the instance or if you kill this instance, this file should also get removed because we do not attach any volume to it, right? So let's stop this instance first. Let's say docker stop and container ID, it's 5eb. And now let's remove this container rm hyphen rm, and I'll say 5eb 5eb. Okay, this container is removed. Let's check. Yeah, there's no containers available. Now let's hit the command again to find the file. Let's see whether we're able to fetch this file. Okay, now as you could see, there are no files listed with this name, meaning that if the container is alive and it's running, you'll be able to find the file there. But if the container gets killed, the volume attached, because there's no volume attached, of course, so whatever file you store inside the container will also get deleted. Okay, so this is a scenario which we worked on till now without volumes. So now let's jump into volumes and let's see the types of volumes now. Okay, I'll clear the screen and let's first see anonymous volume. So anonymous volume, as I said in previous video, volumes will be created with a random hash. Okay, let's see what is random hash and how that it looks. Okay, let's create a container again, this time with a tweak in the command. We are going to include volume. So I'll say docker run -it hyphen name and name of the container. It's reform tech and -v. So this v denotes the volume. Okay, so meaning volume. So we're going to attach volume and say slash data in this path and -d to run it in background, and I say httpd image. So now the container got created. Let's see whether the container is running. Yeah, it's running. And let's also list and see the volume command. So you can hit docker volume ls. So if you hit this command, now you see that a volume is created but with a random hash. So this is the random hash, okay, meaning that there is no proper naming given to this volume. So this case you'll be confused if you have like 10 to 15 containers, and you will not be able to recognize which volume is attached to which container, right? Because it is all random hash. Okay. So yeah, so now let's also let's also now what we do, we can enter into the container. Let's create a file and let's kill the container and let's see whether the file still exists. Okay, so I'll enter into the container exec hyphen it, and the container ID is 4fb bash. Yes, I'm inside the container. As you could see, root are the container ID. So we all know that we have created it in the slash data path. So I'll say cd slash data. Yeah, so now we are in this path, and now I'm going to create a file here. So I'll say touch and I'll name it as anonymous. Okay, the file name I'll name it as anonymous. Okay, if I do ls, yeah, I could see the file here now. Now let me exit from the container. Now I am back to the root address boxes, and now let me use the same command to find the file. So I'll say find slash hyphen name, find slash hyphen name, and the name of the file. Okay, now if you hit this, yeah, you're able to see the file with a random hash. So it starts with this name because there's a volume, right? So this db, it starts with that and the file name. So it's inside the data and it is the name of the file. Okay, now we are able to see the file. Now let's kill this container. Okay, this time I'm going to forcefully remove the container. So I'll say docker rm hyphen f and I'll say 4fb. Okay, this command will kill the container forcefully, and let's see whether any container is running. No, there are no containers running. So now let's try to find the file from the host. So if I hit this command, yeah, I'm able to see this file. Okay, so this means that even if the container gets killed, the files, the volume attached to it remains. Okay, so the whatever the files you store inside the container, whatever the volume is attached, so it doesn't get deleted because you're attaching a volume to it. Okay, so this is an anonymous volume. So the major difference between anonymous and named is the naming convention. As you could see here, it is providing you the hash. Okay, now let's see how an named volume looks like. Okay, so I'm going to create another container. I'll say docker exec hyphen it and hyphen name, and the name of the container I'll say reform tech, and hyphen volume. And now I'm going to name a container. So if you do not mention anything here, it will be like an anonymous. But if I say reform tech, okay, if I say the volume, you can mention this volume as reform tech and slash data. Okay, so as you could see, just the change here is I am just including this. Okay, this is the volume name. Okay, and yeah, and the image, and the image httpd, oh sorry, httpd hyphen, okay, wait a minute, rocker run hyphen name, and the name of the container I gave, okay, it's all good, hyphen name. Okay, is there any mistake here I did? Docker ex, okay, sorry, this is not docker exect, so we have to first create a container. So docker run and hyphen it hyphen name, the name of the container, volume name, and the path. And now let's create it. Yeah, now the container got created. So let's see whether there is any container running. It should run. Yeah, it's running now. And now let's see the docker volume command. Okay, now let's me execute this command, docker volume ls. Yeah, now as you could see, a volume got created with the name whatever we have mentioned here, right? So it is reform tech. So in this case, it is easy for us to identify which container is using this volume. Okay, so we have created a container named reform tech, and we have named the volume also as reform tech. So we'll be able to easily find out that this container is using this particular volume, right? So yeah, so similarly, if we log into this container, if you add inside a file and if you just delete it, yeah, it should also work. If you want, just I'll just quickly show that. I'll enter into the container docker exec hyphen it, and container ID is ad bash. I think exec. Yeah. So let me clear my screen first. Okay, let's see the containers running. Okay, now I'll say docker exec hyphen it, and the container ID is 82d and bash. Okay, here we are inside the container and the same path, so cd slash data. Yeah, ls, there's no file now, so I'll create touch. Now I'm going to name this file as named volume. Okay, and yeah, if I do ls, I'll be able to see this file. So exit. Now let me kill the container forcefully again. Hyphen f, so a2t. Okay, it got killed. Docker ps hyphen a, there's no container available. And now let's find whether this file is available. Now find, I'll say find slash hyphen name, and the name of the file which we created, that is named volume. Okay, yeah, so now we are able to see this file even though uh, the container got deleted. And one more thing is that we're able to see with the volume name. Okay, previously we saw that here random hash was given, but now we have created a volume with a name, so that now we will see this name here. Okay, so this is a named volume. Yeah, so this is we use this mostly, we do not use anonymous in most of the cases, but yes, we do have some cases, but mostly we prefer named volumes. Okay, and now let's jump into the third type of volume, that is host or bind volume. Let me clear my screen. Yeah, and now I'm going to create a container again. So docker run hyphen it hyphen name, and I already have a container which is running with reform tech. Also, I'll name it as reform tech 1 and hyphen volume. This time I'm going to do it with the volume. Okay, so I said hyphen volume, and now I'm going to mention a path here. So previously we were the first case we did not mention anything, but in the second case we mentioned a name. Now I'm going to mention the path. So this path will be there where in the host. Okay, so I'll execute this command. It might not work now, but I'll just show you. Opt, okay, and this is inside the container, and hyphen d nginx or HTTPD. Okay, so now just look at this command. So I'm just going to create a container with reform tech 1, the name of the container, and hyphen v, the volume. So I'm going to create two, a single volume, but in both places, where one outside the container and the other one inside the container. Outside the container, it will be here in this path. So this path and this path should be same. So whatever data you upload here, it should reflect in this path inside the container, and vice versa. Whatever data you upload here, it should reflect here as well in the host. Let's try this. Yeah, now the container got created. Let's see if the container is running. Yeah, the container is running. And now let's say cd from the host. Okay, I'm not getting inside the content for now. Say from the host cd opt, and I'm going to say data. Okay, now we are inside data. If you could see, there are no files listed here. Okay, now let me create a file here. I'll say touch file from host. Okay, so I did not enter inside the container yet, but I'm going to create a file here outside the container. Okay, so as you could see, you see a file from host, which I have did it from the host. Now let me enter inside the container, docker exec hyphen it, and the container ID is 593 and bash. Okay, now we are inside the container. Let's go to the path which we attached to. It's cd slash data, right? Yeah, it's data. Okay, now if you do ls, you'll be able to find the file here. Okay, so this file, this is just an image, I'll say. This is just a mirror. Okay, because whatever file you upload in this path, as I said, will reflect here, and whatever data you upload here, it will also reflect in this path. So let us do that also. So I'll say touch and file from container. Okay, now we have created this file inside the container from this path. Now let me exit and let me see whether you'll be able to find the file here. So I am outside the container now. As you could see, root at OS boxes. And now let me do ls. Yeah, now we are able to see this file also. Okay. So yeah, so these are the types of volumes, and yeah, I hope you're clear by now. Why are we using volumes and also the types of volumes? So you can use any one according to your requirement, right? So yeah, so that is pretty much about the Docker volumes and types of volumes. Yeah, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next video.